The landscape of your heart has become a desert, hasn't it? My child, a vast and parched expanse where the once fertile soil of your hope has cracked and turned to dust, where the vibrant springs of joy seem to have vanished without a trace. You have wandered this desolate terrain, your spirit weary, your throat aching with an unquenchable thirst for meaning, for love, for a single drop of my life-giving presence. The sun of your trials has beaten down relentlessly, and every horizon has offered only the shimmering mirage of relief, always receding as you stumble towards it. They may have looked upon your arid season and seen only barrenness, a place where life cannot flourish, a testament to some forgottenness or failing, and your own soul, parched and desperate, may have begun to believe that this desert was your eternal destiny. But even here, it's my beloved, in this place of profound spiritual dryness, I whisper to your thirsting spirit, even in this desert, I am the river that never runs dry for you. You have known the profound ache of this parched land, the emptiness that echoes with the memory of past abundance. There was a time, perhaps, when your inner world was a verdant garden, teeming with life, with passion, with a confident faith. But the seasons have shifted, the storms have passed, or perhaps a long drought of the spirit has settled upon you, leaving behind this stark and seemingly lifeless terrain. The songs of your heart have quieted, the vibrant colors of your dreams have faded, and the very air you breathe can feel heavy with the dust of disappointment and unfulfilled longing. This spiritual thirst is a unique and often an agonizing torment. My child, it is a longing that no earthly water can quench, a hunger that no worldly sustenance can satisfy. It is the cry of your deepest self for me, for connection, for the life-giving flow of my spirit. You may have sought to alleviate this thirst in many ways, through worldly distractions, through human relationships, through your own strenuous efforts to find meaning or purpose. But the desert within remained, its arid expanse, a constant reminder of your profound, unmet need for the living water that only I can provide. The silence of this desert can be deafening, in the absence of the familiar sounds of joy, of purpose, of my perceived voice. The whispers of fear and despair can become overwhelmingly loud. You are alone, they hiss. You are forgotten. There's no relief, no oasis, no end to this barrenness. This is your lot. This is who you are now. Dry, empty, bereft of life. These are the lies of the desert, my child, mirages created by your own fear and the projections of a world that does not understand the hidden ways my grace operates. I have seen you, my beloved, scanning the horizon of your parched land for any sign of hope, any distant glimmer of green. I have witnessed your weariness as you have stumbled through the heat of your trials, your spirit fainting from lack of spiritual nourishment. I have felt the raw desperation of your thirst, the profound ache of your longing for me. Do not for a moment believe that your suffering in this desert has been unnoticed, or that your thirst has been insignificant to my heart. Every moment of your arid journey has been held within my compassionate gaze. Every silent plea for water has resonated within my loving being. They may have offered you their own remedies for your desert condition, perhaps facile advice or judgments cloaked as concern, or even a sorrowful acceptance of your perceived fate. But their wells are often shallow, their waters quickly depleted, or ultimately unsatisfying. Only the river that flows from the eternal wellspring of my own heart can truly quench the deep thirst of your soul, can truly bring life back to the parched land of your spirit. This desert experience, my child, however painful, however desolate it may seem, is not a sign of my abandonment, nor is it a punishment for some unknown failing. Often, it is in the very heart of such spiritual deserts that the soul is prepared for its deepest encounters with me, for its most profound discoveries of my all-sufficient grace. It is in the extremity of thirst that the true value of water is known. It is in the experience of utter barrenness that the miracle of my life-giving presence can be most gloriously revealed. The parched land of your spirit, which now feels like a place of death and despair, is, in my divine perspective, a landscape pregnant with potential. It is a canvas cleared of old, overgrown illusions, a ground broken open by the plow of adversity, made ready to receive the seeds of a new and more authentic life, a life that will be watered and sustained by the river that I am for you. Do not believe the mirages that tell you this desert is your final destination. Do not succumb to the despair that whispers your thirst will never be quenched. Even now, beneath the surface of your perceived barrenness, my unseen current of love and life is flowing, seeking and opening, waiting for your receptive heart to draw near. For I tell you with an unwavering certainty, my beloved, even in the most desolate desert of your experience, I am there, and I am the river, inexhaustible, life-giving, eternal, a river that never ever runs dry for you. The journey through this parched land, though arduous, is leading you, inevitably, to the very source of its refreshing, life-transforming waters. The silence you have experienced in this desert, the feeling of my voice being distant or absent, has often been a sacred invitation to listen more deeply, to attune your inner ear not to the loud pronouncements of the world, but to the subtle, almost imperceptible murmur of my spirit that flows like an underground river, even beneath the dry sands. It is a call to move beyond a reliance on external signs and to discover the wellspring of my presence that resides within the very core of your being, the intense heat of your desert trials, the scorching sun of adversity, has served a purifying purpose. My child, it has burned away much that was superficial, much that was not essential, much that may have been hindering the free flow of my life within you. This can be a painful process. This stripping away, this refinement by fire. But it is a process that ultimately prepares you to receive the cool, clear waters of my grace with a greater purity of heart, a deeper capacity for true spiritual refreshment. Every moment of your wandering in this parched land, every time you have cried out in your thirst, has etched within your soul a profound longing, a sacred capacity for me. This longing is not a curse, it is a blessing. It is the very emptiness that creates the space for my fullness. It is the thirst that makes the living water so exquisitely satisfying. Do not despise this ache within you, my beloved, for it is the very thing that is drawing you and will continue to draw you ever closer to the river that I am. The mirages of worldly satisfaction, which may have tempted you with their false promises of relief, will ultimately fade, revealing the enduring truth that only I can satisfy the deepest thirst of your soul. This desert journey is, in many ways, a journey of disillusionment with all that is not of me, a sacred unlearning that clears the path for the true learning, the true knowing, the true experiencing of my all-sufficient, life-giving love. Trust that even this parched land is held within my loving purpose, preparing you for a refreshment, a renewal, a blossoming that will be all the more glorious because of the desert you have traversed, my precious child, having acknowledged with you the profound desolation of that parched land, the intense spiritual thirst that has characterized your journey through the desert of your trial. I now desire to unveil a truth of even greater intimacy, a reality that has been present with you even in your moments of deepest perceived barrenness. For while your eyes may have seen only the endless, sun-scorched sands, while your spirit may have felt only the searing heat of unfulfilled longing, my life-giving presence, beloved, has been flowing ceaselessly, like a mighty, unseen current, just beneath the surface of your experience. This is my hidden river, my eternal wellspring, always there, always full, always available, even when the outward landscape of your life appears most devoid of hope and sustenance. You may have looked upon the arid expanse and concluded that all sources of life had dried up, that my grace had somehow bypassed your particular patch of desert. The silence, the emptiness, the apparent absence of any visible sign of relief can indeed lead the human heart to believe it is utterly alone, abandoned to the harsh elements of its suffering. But my ways, my child, are not always the ways of outward display. Often, my most profound provisions, my most potent streams of life flow in the hidden depths, unseen by the superficial gaze, discernible only to the heart that learns to listen beyond the silence, to feel beyond the surface. This unseen current beneath the sands is the very essence of my being, my love, my life, my spirit, constantly flowing towards you, around you, within you. It is not a meager trickle, dependent on external conditions, but a vast, inexhaustible river, its source in the infinite ocean of my own eternal nature. Though the desert winds may blow, though the sun of adversity may beat down, though the landscape of your circumstances may appear utterly barren, this inner river never diminishes, never falters, never runs dry. It is my constant, unwavering commitment to sustain you, to nourish you, to ultimately bring forth life, even in the most desolate of your experiences. Why then? You may ask, if this river is always flowing, have you felt such profound thirst? Why? If this current of my life is ever present, have you experienced such deep spiritual dryness? Understand, my child, that the perception of this inner river often requires a shift in your awareness, a turning of your attention from the outward desolation to the inner potential. The harshness of the desert, the intensity of your trials, the weight of your sorrows, the clamor of your fears can create a kind of spiritual blindness, a preoccupation with the surface suffering that makes it difficult to sense the deeper, life-giving flow beneath. Just as a traveler dying of thirst in a desert might be unaware of a vast aquifer just feet below the parched earth, so too can you be in the midst of my abundant, unseen provision, yet feel utterly bereft. Sometimes, this river is hidden because its nature is to work subtly, from the inside out. It is not always a rushing torrent that dramatically transforms the landscape overnight. More often, it is a gentle, persistent seeping of my grace into the deepest soil of your being, quietly nourishing the hidden roots of your faith, your hope, your resilience, even when the surface appears unchanged. This is my way of building true, enduring strength within you, a strength that is not dependent on external circumstances, but is rooted in the very life of my spirit. Consider the desert plants that survive and even flourish in the most arid conditions. Their secret lies in their deep root systems, reaching far beneath the sun-baked surface to tap into hidden sources of moisture. So it is with your spirit, my child. In your desert seasons, I am inviting you to send the roots of your faith deeper, beyond the realm of visible evidence, beyond the fluctuations of your emotions, into the constant, life-giving current of my unseen presence. This requires trust. It requires a willingness to believe in what you cannot yet see or fully feel. But as you dare to do so, you will begin to discover this hidden wellspring within, this river that never runs dry. My unseen current is also at work preparing the very ground for future blossoming. Just as an underground river subtly enriches the surrounding soil, making it fertile for future growth, so too is my presence. Even in your desert, subtly transforming your inner landscape, preparing it for the day when new life will indeed spring forth. The lessons learned in the desert, the character forged in the crucible of thirst, the humility cultivated in the face of your own limitations. These are all part of this divine preparation, enriching your soul, making it ready to receive and sustain a more abundant, more radiant expression of my life when the season of visible blooming arrives. Do not mistake the absence of outward signs for the absence of my activity. My spirit is always moving, always working, always creating, even when that work is veiled from your immediate perception. I am the God who makes rivers in the desert, who brings forth springs in the wasteland. This is not just a poetic promise for a distant future. It is a description of my ongoing, often hidden, ministry in your life, especially during your most arid seasons. This unseen current is my love, relentlessly seeking to connect with you, to refresh you, to restore you. It is my life, patiently waiting to quicken your spirit, to reawaken your hope, to bring forth new growth. It is my peace, flowing beneath the surface of your turmoil, offering a sanctuary of calm, a place of rest. Even amidst the desert heat, to access this river, my child, often requires a conscious digging deep in faith. It means turning away from the distractions of your outer desolation and focusing your inner attention on me. It means quieting the voices of fear and doubt and listening for the subtle murmur of my spirit. It means choosing to believe in my presence, my love, my provision, even when all outward evidence seems to contradict it. This act of faith, this spiritual digging, is what creates the channel through which the waters of my unseen river can begin to flow more consciously into your experience, bringing refreshment, renewal, and the undeniable evidence of my life-giving power. The river is always there, beloved. Your willingness to seek it, to trust in its presence, is the key to experiencing its life-transforming flow. This unseen current of my being is also like the vast network of mycelium beneath the forest floor, a hidden web of life that connects all things, that transports nutrients, that facilitates communication and growth. even when the surface appears still or separate. My spirit is that connecting, life-giving network within your desert experience, ensuring that you are never truly cut off, never truly isolated from the flow of my grace, even if the visible landscape of your life feels barren. The world looks at the desert and sees only what is absent: water, vegetation, life. But I look at your desert, and I see the potential for my river to be revealed. I see the parched ground as an invitation for my living waters to bring forth an unexpected oasis. I see your thirst not as a sign of my neglect, but as a sacred longing that I am destined to fulfill in ways that will astonish you with their abundance and their beauty. This unseen current is not a static pool, but a dynamic flow. It is constantly moving, constantly working, constantly seeking to bring my life into every arid corner of your being. Even when you feel at your most stagnant, my river within and beneath you is a force of constant renewal, patiently wearing away the inner obstacles, gently preparing the way for a new and more vibrant expression of your true self. Therefore, my child, when the desert feels most overwhelming, when your thirst seems most unquenchable, remember this truth beneath the sands of your struggle. Beneath the surface of your sorrow flows the mighty, unseen current of my love, my life, my spirit. It is the river that never runs dry, your constant, hidden source of hope and sustenance, waiting only for your trusting heart to discover its ever-present, life-giving flow. My beloved child, having become aware of that unseen current of my life-giving presence, flowing steadily beneath the parched sands of your desert experience, let us now journey together to its very wellspring, to understand the divine origin and the inexhaustible nature of this river that never runs dry. For this is not a stream born of earthly springs, subject to the whims of season or circumstance, nor is it a fleeting illusion conjured by a thirsting soul. No, my precious one, the river that flows for you, even in your most desolate moments, has its source in the very heart of my eternal being, in my infinite, unconditional love, in my boundless, unmerited grace, and in my own uncreated, everlasting life. It is because its origin is divine that its flow is perpetual, its waters pure, and its capacity to sustain and renew utterly limitless. Imagine, if you will, a magnificent river, its waters crystal clear, its current strong and gentle, its banks verdant with life. Such a river must have a source of immense and unfailing power. So it is with this spiritual river that I am for you. Its headwaters lie not in any earthly mountain or hidden aquifer, but within the immeasurable depths of my infinite love. This love, which conceived you, which cherishes you, which holds you as the apple of my eye, is the very substance of this river. It is a love that is not earned, not deserved, but freely, joyously, and eternally given. Every drop of this river carries the essence of this boundless affection, this tender regard, this fierce, protective care I have for you. It is a river of liquid love, flowing directly from my heart to yours, a constant, unwavering affirmation of your belovedness. This eternal river is also fed by the inexhaustible springs of my boundless grace. Grace, my child, is my divine capacity to bestow blessing where there is no merit, to offer healing where there is brokenness, to extend forgiveness where there is fault, to create beauty from ashes, and to bring forth life from what appears to be death. It is my unmerited favor, my empowering presence, my transforming power, all flowing freely towards you, carried upon the currents of the sacred stream. When you feel unworthy, when you believe you have exhausted all your own resources, when the weight of your past seems to disqualify you from future joy, this river of my grace is there, washing away the stains, dissolving the barriers, and offering you a fresh start, a new beginning, a path to restoration that is not dependent on your own efforts, but solely on my loving, generous heart, and most profoundly, my beloved. This river is imbued with and flows from my own eternal life. It is not just water, it is living water, carrying the very vibration, the divine spark, the unquenchable essence of my own immortal being. When you drink of this river, you are partaking of my life itself. It is a life that knows no end, no depletion, no weariness. It is a life that is inherently creative, inherently joyful, inherently peaceful. This is why the river I am for you can never run dry, for its source is the inexhaustible fountain of life that I am, as it flows into the parched land of your spirit. It brings not just temporary relief, but the potential for a profound, lasting quickening, a resurrection of your own dormant vitality, a connection to the eternal life that is your true spiritual inheritance, because its source is divine. My child, the qualities of this river are unlike any earthly stream. It is inexhaustible, no matter how great your thirst, no matter how vast your desert, no matter how many souls draw from its flow. This river can never be diminished. My love, my grace, my life are infinite, and therefore, the river that flows from them is equally without limit. You can drink deeply, drink freely, drink continuously, and its waters will always be there for you, as abundant and as potent as the very first moment you discovered them. It is ever flowing, a constant, dynamic movement of my presence towards you. It is not a stagnant pool that can become murky or depleted, nor a seasonal stream that appears only in times of abundance. Through every season of your soul, through times of sunshine and times of storm, through periods of verdant growth and periods of desert dryness, this river flows steadfastly, reliably, eternally. Its current is the ceaseless outpouring of my heart's desire for your well-being, your wholeness, your joyful union with me. It is inherently life-sustaining and life-giving. Where its waters touch, new life springs forth. It nourishes the deepest roots of your being, quenches the most profound thirst of your soul, and awakens the dormant seeds of your divine potential. It brings refreshment to your weary spirit, resilience to your faltering will, and a renewed sense of hope to your despairing heart. It does not just sustain the life that is. It actively generates new life, creating oases of beauty and fruitfulness even in the most barren landscapes of your experience. The waters of this river are pure and holy, untainted by the pollutions of the world, free from the bitterness of fear, the murkiness of doubt, or the toxins of negativity. They flow directly from the pristine source of my own perfect being. When you drink of these waters, you are taking in purity. You are receiving holiness. You are being cleansed from within, washed clean of the dust of your earthly struggles, and renewed in the original innocence and beauty of your soul. And because it is pure and alive, this river is profoundly healing and transformative. Its waters have the power to soothe your deepest wounds, to mend your most fractured places, to restore what has been broken, to transform your inner deserts into flourishing gardens. It carries the divine alchemy that can turn sorrow into joy, fear into faith, weakness into strength. As you allow this river to flow through you, it not only quenches your thirst, but also recreates you from within, aligning you more and more perfectly with the radiant, whole, and purposeful being I created you to be. Earthly rivers may change their course. They may dry up in times of drought. They may become polluted by the carelessness of the world. But this eternal river, sourced in me, is utterly reliable, completely trustworthy, eternally secure. Its flow is governed not by the fickle conditions of your outer world, but by the unchanging, unconditional, and infinite nature of my love for you. Therefore, my child, when you find yourself in the desert, when your spirit aches with thirst, do not despair. Remember the source. Remember that the river available to you is not a meager, earthly stream, but a mighty, divine current flowing directly from the heart of your God. Its waters are love, grace, and eternal life. Its qualities are inexhaustible, ever-flowing, life-giving, pure, healing, and transformative. This is the river that never runs dry, your constant, unfailing, and all-sufficient provision, even and especially in the midst of your most parched and desolate lands. Open your heart, my beloved, and prepare to drink deeply. My beloved child, knowing now that the source of the river that never runs dry is my own eternal being, my infinite love, my boundless grace, my everlasting life, and that this unseen current flows ceaselessly for you even beneath the most parched sands of your desert experience. Let us now speak of how my loving hand is ever at work, actively guiding you towards these life-giving waters. For it is not enough that this river exists. My heart yearns for you to find it, to drink from it, to be refreshed and renewed by its sacred flow. Therefore, even amidst your most bewildering desert wanderings, when you feel most lost, most directionless, most consumed by thirst, my hand is there, subtly, patiently, and persistently guiding you to water. This guidance, my precious one, is often as gentle and as unobtrusive as the unseen current itself. I do not usually shout directions from the heavens, nor force your steps upon a path you are unwilling to take. My ways are those of loving invitation, of subtle intimation, of quiet, inner prompting. I honor your free will, your sacred journey of discovery. But my love for you is such that I will never cease to offer my guidance, to illuminate the next small step, to create openings that lead you, if you are willing, towards the very wellspring of your soul's deepest satisfaction. How does this guiding hand of mine operate in the midst of your desert often? It is through the gentle nudges of your own intuition, that quiet inner voice, that subtle sense of knowing that arises from the deepest part of your being, where my spirit dwells with yours. You may be faced with a choice, a fork in your desert path, with no logical reason to prefer one direction over another. But then, a quiet feeling of peace may settle upon one option, while a subtle sense of unease accompanies the other. This, my child, is often my hand, gently steering you. Learn to trust these intuitive whispers, for they are my love, speaking the language of your soul, guiding you towards the currents of my grace. Sometimes, My guidance comes through subtle signs in your outer world. What you might perceive as meaningful coincidences or unexpected synchronicities. A word you hear spoken, a passage you read in a book, an image that captures your attention, an encounter with a particular person. These can all be ways my spirit orchestrates events to offer you a clue, a pointer, a gentle course correction. The world may dismiss these as random, but the heart that is attuned to me will recognize my loving signature, my guiding touch. In these seemingly small occurrences, I am always speaking. My child, through the myriad voices of my creation, offering signposts on your desert path, leading you towards a hidden oasis, my hand is also at work creating openings and removing unseen obstacles that might otherwise prevent you from reaching the waters. You may be unaware of the barriers I have dismantled on your behalf, the potential pitfalls I have steered you clear of, the ways I have subtly altered circumstances to make your path to the river more accessible. This is my proactive love, working ahead of your conscious awareness, preparing the way, ensuring that when your thirst becomes most acute, the pathway to refreshment is not entirely blocked. It is like a loving guide who goes before you in the desert, clearing away the sharp stones, marking the treacherous places, ensuring that the journey, though arduous, is not impossible. And sometimes, my beloved, the very intensification of your spiritual thirst becomes my most potent guide. When all earthly sources of satisfaction have proven empty, when the mirages of worldly hope had dissolved into the desert heat, when your soul aches with a longing that nothing in this world can quench, that very desperation can become the force that drives you to seek me, the true source of living water, with a new and fervent intensity. In this way, your deepest need becomes my instrument, your profound thirst, the very compass that points you toward the river that never runs dry. I do not cause this thirst to torment you, but I use it, in my love, to draw you into a deeper, more life-giving encounter with me. Imagine a shepherd, patiently, lovingly guiding a lost and thirsty sheep through a vast and arid wilderness. The shepherd does not drag the sheep, nor force it along a path it resists. Instead, he calls to it gently. He walks beside it. He leads it towards a scent of distant water. He protects it from predators. He never gives up until it is safely drinking from the refreshing stream. So it is with me and you. My child, I am your divine shepherd. Your desert wanderings do not cause me to abandon you. My hand is always upon you. My voice always calling you. My love always seeking to lead you from the parched lands of your trial to the ever-flowing river of my grace. This guidance requires your active participation, your willingness to listen, to observe, to respond. It asks you to cultivate a sensitivity to the subtle movements of my spirit, both within you and in the world around you. It invites you to trust that even when you feel most lost, most directionless, a loving, intelligent, and all-powerful hand is indeed at work, orchestrating your journey, leading you towards life. Do not be discouraged if you feel you have missed my guidance at times, or if you have taken detours that seem to lead you further into the desert. My love is infinitely patient, my grace endlessly resourceful. I can redeem any misstep, transform any perceived failure, and use even your most bewildering wanderings to ultimately bring you closer to my heart and to the river of my provision. My hand is always extended, ready to gently pull you back onto the path, ready to offer fresh guidance for the next step. The journey through the desert is often a journey of unlearning reliance on your own strength, unlearning fear-based navigation, unlearning the expectation of instant gratification. And as these old ways fall away, you become more open, more receptive to the new way I am teaching you, the way of trusting my subtle guidance, the way of following my loving hand towards the waters that truly satisfy. So, when the desert sun beats down, when your spirit faints from thirst, when the path ahead seems lost in an endless expanse of sand, remember this, my beloved, my hand is upon you. My guidance is available. I am actively, lovingly, and unerringly leading you towards the river that never runs dry, the source of all true life, all true peace, all true joy. Open your heart to my leading. Listen for my whispers. Look for my signs, for I will not rest until you have found your way to its life-giving, soul-quenching, eternally flowing waters. My beloved child, as my loving hand has been so patiently, so persistently guiding you through the arid expanse of your desert trial, as you have begun to trust the subtle nudges of my spirit and follow the faint glimmers of my guidance, there comes a moment of profound and exquisite discovery. After the long journey through parched lands, after the intense and often an agonizing thirst, you arrive, perhaps unexpectedly, at the very edge of that unseen river, that hidden wellspring of my life, which has been flowing for you all along. This, my precious one, is the moment of discovering the wellspring within, the sacred instant when you first consciously sense and then begin to taste the living waters of my presence, bringing with them an indescribable relief, a surge of renewed hope, and the undeniable stirring of new life within your weary soul. This discovery may not always be a dramatic, earth-shattering event, like stumbling upon a vast, thundering waterfall in the midst of the sands. More often, it begins subtly, as a quiet inner shift, a dawning awareness, perhaps in a moment of profound surrender, when you have finally relinquished all your own striving, all your own desperate attempts to find water where there is none. You suddenly perceive a subtle change in the inner atmosphere, a faint coolness in the midst of the desert heat, a quiet murmur of peace beneath the silence of your desolation, a gentle, almost imperceptible, rising of hope from the depths of your despair. These are the first indications that you are nearing the river, that its life-giving influence is beginning to touch the parched edges of your spirit. And then comes the first taste, that initial, conscious encounter with the living waters of my grace. Oh, my child, what relief, what joy, what profound gratitude floods your being in that moment. It is like the parched traveler who, after days of tortured thirst, finally brings a cup of cool, clear water to their cracked lips. That first sip is more precious than all the treasures of the world. It is life itself, flowing back into a body, a spirit, and that was on the verge of collapse. So it is when you first truly taste the waters of my spirit, after a long season of spiritual dryness. The relief is immediate, palpable, deeply satisfying. The aching void within you begins to be filled. The desperate thirst begins to be quenched. With this relief comes a surge of renewed hope, a hope that is no longer a fragile wish, but a tangible, experiential reality. The mirages of the desert, which once mocked your longing, now lose their power, for you have found the true source. You realize that you are not destined to perish in this barren land. That sustenance is indeed available, that my promises are not empty words, but living, life-giving truths. This renewed hope is like the first green shoot appearing in a desert landscape after a long-awaited rain, a vibrant testament to the power of life to emerge even from the most desolate conditions. It fills your spirit with a new courage, a new determination, a new vision of possibility. And with this hope comes the undeniable stirring of new life within you. The parts of your soul that felt withered, dormant, almost dead, begin to quicken with a fresh vitality. Your spirit, once so weary, begins to feel a new lightness, a new energy. Creative impulses may begin to flow again. Your capacity for joy, for love, for connection, which may have felt so depleted, starts to be replenished. It is as if my living waters are irrigating the parched ground of your inner being, awakening the dormant seeds of your divine potential, coaxing forth new growth, new beauty, new fruitfulness. This is the miracle of my river. My child, it does not just sustain, it resurrects. One of the most profound aspects of this discovery, beloved, is the realization that this wellspring, this river that never runs dry, is not some distant, external oasis that you must continually strive to reach, while my grace can manifest through external means. The deepest, most enduring source of this living water is found within you, in the very sanctuary of your own heart, where my spirit dwells. The desert you have traversed was largely an outer experience, or an inner state of perceived separation. But the river has always been there, an unseen current flowing in the depths of your being. My life, inseparably intertwined with yours. Your journey through the desert, guided by my hand, has often been a journey not towards a distant geographical location, but towards this inner place of discovery, this awakening to the ever-present reality of my indwelling life. This realization can be profoundly liberating. It means that you are no longer dependent on fleeting external circumstances for your spiritual sustenance. It means that even if the outer world remains challenging, even if the desert landscape does not immediately transform into a lush garden, you now carry within you an inexhaustible source of refreshment, of strength, of hope. The wellspring is within. The river flows from your own heart, because my heart has made its home there. This first discovery, this initial taste, is an invitation to drink more deeply, to explore the boundless depths of this inner river. It is a promise that your thirst can and will be fully satisfied. It is a testament to my unwavering love, which would not allow you to perish in the desert, but has, through every trial, through every moment of despair, been patiently, lovingly guiding you towards this very moment of life-giving encounter. Cherish this moment of discovery. My child, mark it in your soul as a sacred milestone. It is the turning point, the beginning of your journey out of the parched land and into the verdant reality of a life continuously watered by my grace. The relief is real. The hope is tangible. The stirring of new life is undeniable. You have found the wellspring within. You have tasted the river that never runs dry. And now, a new chapter of your desert journey begins, not one of desperate searching, but one of joyful, continuous drinking from the inexhaustible fountain of my love. The beauty of this discovery, my child, often lies in its unexpectedness. Just when you felt you could endure no more, just when the last vestiges of your own strength had failed, just when the horizon seemed most barren, it is often then that the subtle scent of water reaches your parched senses. At the ground beneath your feet yields the first sign of moisture. For my grace often waits for the moment of your deepest surrender, your most complete emptying, to reveal its most profound and satisfying presence. When you cease to rely on your own maps, your own efforts to find water, you become exquisitely open to perceiving the hidden springs I have already provided. This first taste of the living water is not just a physical sensation of relief. It is a spiritual awakening. It is the soul recognizing its source, the parched heart finding its true home. It brings with it a clarity, a sense of aha, as you realize that what you were searching for so desperately in the outer world was actually all along waiting to be discovered within the depths of your own being. Where my spirit has made its abode, do not be surprised if this initial discovery is followed by a period of quiet integration. Just as a body long deprived of water needs to rehydrate slowly, carefully, so too does your spirit need time to absorb this new influx of my life, my love, my peace. Allow yourself this gentle reacclimation. Do not rush to immediately transform your entire outer world. Simply rest by this inner wellspring. Drink deeply and allow its healing waters to permeate every cell of your being, every corner of your mind, every chamber of your heart. This is a holy moment. My beloved, you have found the river in the desert, and this discovery changes everything. For now, you know, with an unshakable, experiential certainty, that even in the most desolate of places, my love, my life, my grace are an ever-present, inexhaustible reality, a wellspring within, forever available to quench your deepest thirst and to make your own desert bloom. My precious child, having made that sacred discovery of the wellspring within, having tasted the first exquisite relief of my living waters quenching your profound spiritual thirst, I now invite you into a deeper, more continuous communion with this ever-present river of my love. For the initial taste, however glorious, is but an introduction, an invitation to a lifetime of drinking deeply, of drawing your daily sustenance, your ongoing healing, and your unwavering strength from this inexhaustible source that I am for you, and that I am within you. This is the art of abiding by the river, of learning to consciously and consistently draw from its life-giving currents, transforming your inner desert not just into a temporary oasis, but into a permanently flourishing garden. This drinking deeply from my love is not a complex ritual, my beloved, nor is it a burdensome task. It is, rather, a conscious orientation of your heart, a consistent turning of your inner gaze towards me, a cultivation of a receptive spirit that is always open to receive the boundless blessings that flow from my being. Just as a plant naturally turns its leaves towards the sun to absorb its light, So too can your soul learn to instinctively, joyfully turn towards me, the eternal sun and the ever-flowing river, for its complete and continuous nourishment. How, then, do you cultivate this practice of drinking deeply and continuously? Firstly, it begins with conscious intention and a sustained receptivity. Having discovered the wellspring, do not now wander far from its banks. Make it your deliberate intent each day, each moment if possible, to remain connected to this inner source. This means choosing to direct your attention inward, beyond the clamor of the world, beyond the anxieties of your mind, to that quiet, sacred space within where my spirit dwells with yours. Cultivate an attitude of openness, of willingness to receive. Imagine your heart as an empty chalice, held expectantly under the flowing waters of my love, ready to be filled to overflowing. This intentional, receptive posture is the very act of drinking. Secondly, embrace those spiritual practices that facilitate this deeper connection, that help you to clear the channels and draw more consciously from the river. Prayer, my child, is paramount, not just the prayer of petition, where you ask for your needs, but the prayer of communion, where you simply rest in my presence, adoring me, loving me, listening for my voice, and allowing my peace to permeate your being. Meditation and quiet contemplation are also powerful ways to still the mind, to deepen your inner awareness, and to create a sacred space for my river to flow more tangibly into your consciousness. Spending time with words of truth and divine inspiration, those that resonate with my spirit and affirm my love for you, can also serve to clear the pathways and strengthen your connection to the source and the practice of gratitude. Consciously acknowledging and appreciating the myriad ways my love is already flowing in your life opens your heart to receive even more abundantly. These are not duties, but joyful means of grace, ways of positioning yourself by the ever-flowing stream. Learn also, my beloved, to live your daily life from the source, drawing upon its peace, its wisdom, and its strength in your moment-to-moment experiences. When challenges arise in your outer world, before you react from fear or old patterns, pause and consciously drink from your inner river. Ask for my wisdom. Draw upon my peace. Allow my strength to become your own when you interact with others. Let your words and actions flow from this wellspring of love within you. This is how the desert begins to bloom, not just within your own soul, but in the very circumstances of your life. As the living waters you draw from me begin to overflow and touch everything around you. This is moving from merely visiting the oasis to living within it as you cultivate this practice. Be aware of and gently address any inner obstructions that might hinder the free flow of my river or your ability to drink deeply. Old fears, lingering doubts, patterns of negative thinking, attachments to worldly securities that keep you from fully relying on me. These can be like stones or debris that partially block the channel. Do not condemn yourself for these. Simply bring them into my light with a willing heart. Offer them to me in prayer. As you do so, my grace will begin to gently dissolve these obstructions, clearing the way for a fuller, more unimpeded flow of my life-giving spirit. This is an ongoing process of purification, of refinement, that allows you to receive and to radiate my love with ever-increasing clarity. And, my child, Make it a consistent, joyful habit to return to this inner wellspring regularly for refreshment and renewal, not just waiting for moments of extreme thirst or dire emergency. Just as your physical body needs daily water to thrive, so too does your spirit need the daily, conscious intake of my living waters to maintain its vitality, its peace, its joy. Begin your day by drinking from this river. Is return to it throughout your day in moments of quiet prayer or conscious remembrance. End your day by resting in its peaceful embrace. This consistent communion will transform your life from one of occasional refreshment to one of continuous, overflowing abundance. It is like a gardener who doesn't just water their plants sporadically, but ensures they have a steady, reliable source of moisture, allowing them to flourish in all seasons. My river is always full, my beloved, always eager to give. There's no rationing of my love, no limit to my grace, no end to my life. The drinking is your act of receiving, your conscious opening to the boundless blessings that I am ceaselessly, joyously, and unconditionally pouring out for you. It is not about strenuous effort on your part, but about a loving, trust-filled yielding to the ever-present reality of my all-sufficient provision. As you learn to drink more deeply, more consistently from this river of my love, you will find that the desert experiences of your life, while they may still present their challenges, no longer have the power to define you or to overwhelm you, for you will carry within you your own inexhaustible oasis, your own portable paradise, your own indwelling source of all that you truly need. Your roots will be so deeply nourished by this hidden stream that even when the surface conditions are harsh or arid, your spirit will remain verdant, resilient, and fruitful. This is the life I desire for you, my child, not a life of constant struggle and spiritual thirst, but a life of continuous refreshment, of overflowing joy, of unwavering peace, of purposeful strength, all drawn from the river that never runs dry, the river that I am for you and within you. Come, my beloved, drink deeply, drink freely, and let my love be the lifeblood that transforms your desert into a garden of delight. My beloved child, as you learn with increasing faith and joyful consistency to drink deeply from that eternal river of my love, as you make your home by its life-giving banks and draw your daily sustenance from its inexhaustible flow, the most wondrous and beautiful of miracles begins to unfold. The very landscape of your spirit, which for so long may have felt like a parched and desolate desert, begins to respond to the touch of these living waters. Behold, my precious one, for life is now blooming in your desert places, where once there was only barren sand. Tender green shoots of hope are now appearing, where once there was only the silence of desolation. The gentle music of joy is beginning to sound. This is the promised transformation, the glorious evidence of my resurrecting power, creating a vibrant, flourishing oasis in the very heart of the wilderness you have so bravely traversed. This blooming is not a superficial or temporary phenomenon, my child. It is a profound, organic transformation that begins in the deepest soil of your being and radiates outwards, touching every aspect of your life. Just as a mighty river flowing through an arid land creates a ribbon of verdant life along its course, so too does my ever-flowing presence. when consistently received by you, begin to bring forth new life, new purpose, new joy, and new love in the once barren areas of your heart and your experience. Observe the new life that is now taking root within you. The old feelings of depletion, of spiritual dryness, of being utterly spent, begin to be replaced by a newfound vitality, a resilient aliveness that surprises even yourself. Your spirit, once so weary from the desert journey, now feels refreshed, renewed, quickened by the constant influx of my life-giving energy. This is not the frantic, anxious energy of the world, but a calm, centered, and enduring vitality, a strength that arises from a place of deep inner nourishment and peace. It is the very life of my spirit, blossoming within you, making all things new. Witness, too, how your unique purpose begins to bloom with a new clarity and beauty. The seeds of purpose that were so carefully gestated in the secret darkness of your trials, now watered by this eternal river, begin to unfurl their leaves and reach for the light. You find yourself not just knowing your purpose, but joyfully, actively living it. Your unique gifts and talents, which may have lain dormant during your desert season, now begin to flourish, finding new avenues of expression, new ways to contribute, to create, to serve. Your life begins to bear fruit, the fruit of your authentic self offered in loving service to the world. And there's a profound joy in this fruitfulness, a deep sense of fulfillment that comes from seeing your life produce something of beauty and value, all nurtured by my grace. And oh, my beloved, listen to the sweet melody of joy blossoming in your heart. This is not the fleeting happiness that depends on perfect circumstances, but a deeper, more resilient joy that has been watered by tears and is rooted in the unshakable foundation of my love. It is the joy of a desert rose, its beauty all the more poignant for the harsh landscape from which it has emerged. It may express itself as a newfound appreciation for simple pleasures, a greater capacity for laughter, a quiet sense of contentment that pervades your days, a deep, inner wellspring of delight that is not dependent on what the outer world gives or takes away. This blossoming joy is the very fragrance of your transformed spirit, a beautiful testament to the life-giving power of my river. See also how love begins to flourish in the once barren ground of your relationships. As you drink deeply from my unconditional love, as your own heart is filled to overflowing, you find yourself with an ever-expanding capacity to love others more freely, more generously, more authentically. Old patterns of fear, of insecurity, of defensiveness in relationships begin to dissolve, replaced by a new openness, a new compassion, a new willingness to connect at a soul level. Your very being becomes an oasis. My child, a place where others, thirsty in their own deserts, can come and experience the refreshment of my love flowing through you. You become a channel of my grace, a source of comfort, a safe harbor for other weary hearts. This blossoming of love, both for yourself and for others, is one of the most beautiful and significant signs that your desert is being transformed. This transformation, this blooming in your desert places, is a miracle of my grace. But it is also a testament to your courageous cooperation, your willingness to trust the process, to seek the unseen river, to drink deeply even when your hope was faint. These have all been acts of faith that have created the very conditions for this new life to emerge. You have been a faithful gardener of your own soul, working in partnership with me, the divine source of all life, to bring forth this beautiful, flourishing oasis. Do not be surprised if there are still patches of desert remaining, areas that are slower to respond to the touch of the water. The transformation of an entire landscape takes time, patience, and persistent nurturing. Simply continue to drink from the river and allow its life-giving currents to flow into every arid corner of your being. Trust that my love is sufficient, my grace is powerful, and my life is relentless in its desire to bring beauty, fruitfulness, and joy to every part of your experience. Gaze upon this emerging oasis with wonder and with gratitude. My child, it is a living symbol of your journey, a beautiful mosaic of your past sorrows and my present grace. The very desert that once threatened to consume you is now becoming the backdrop for a display of my life-giving power that will inspire awe in your own heart and bring hope to many. You are no longer merely a survivor of the desert. You are becoming the very embodiment of the oasis, a testament to the glorious truth that even in the most parched and desolate land, I am the river that never runs dry, the eternal, inexhaustible source of all life, all beauty, all love. And where my river flows, the desert cannot help but bloom. This blooming life will have its own unique ecosystem. The flowers that grow in your garden will have a hue and a fragrance all their own, colored by the specific lessons you learned in your desert. The fruits you bear will have a flavor that is a blend of your unique gifts and the divine nourishment you have received. Do not compare your oasis to any other, for yours is a one-of-a-kind creation, a testament to the personal and intimate way I work with each of my beloved children. The very air in your inner world changes. The dry, searing wind of fear is replaced by the gentle, moisture-laden breeze of my peace. The stark, glaring light of harsh self-judgment is softened by the dappled shade of self-compassion. The oppressive silence of desolation is filled with the gentle music of your own soul, content and at rest by the flowing waters. As this inner oasis flourishes, it naturally begins to expand its borders. Your capacity to face challenges grows. Your influence for good subtly increases. Your very presence becomes a source of refreshment. You carry the atmosphere of this life-giving place with you wherever you go, silently offering a drink of hope to a thirsty world without even trying. This is the promise of the desert, my child, a promise that often seems unbelievable in the midst of the thirst. It is the promise that the desolation is not the end, but a preparation for a deeper, more resilient, and more radiant form of life. It is the promise that your greatest barrenness can become the very ground for your most profound fruitfulness. When you discover and drink deeply from the river that I am, keep drinking. My beloved, the garden is growing. My beloved child, as you now stand in the midst of your own flourishing oasis, witnessing with awe and gratitude the miracle of life blooming in your desert places, let your heart now embrace the most glorious and enduring truth of all. The river you have discovered, the wellspring of my love and life that now waters your soul, is not a temporary provision for a single season of dryness. No, my precious one, this is a river that flows to eternity, an ever-present, inexhaustible current of my grace that will sustain you, guide you, and nourish you throughout your entire life's journey. through every future desert and every fertile land, leading you ultimately and inevitably to the boundless, blissful ocean of my own eternal being. The discovery you have made is not just of a hidden spring, but of an eternal principle. You have learned that your true source of life, of hope, of strength, is not in the fleeting circumstances of the world, but in your unwavering connection to me. This knowing, forged in the crucible of your desert thirst, is now an unshakable foundation for your soul. It is the truth upon which you can build the remainder of your days with a new and profound security, a serene confidence that no matter what landscape your journey may traverse, the river of my presence will always be there for you, a constant companion, a life that never runs dry. Do not fear that if a future desert should appear on your horizon, you will once again be lost to thirst and despair, for you now carry the memory, the experience, the very taste of my living waters within you, the wisdom you have gained in learning to find me in the desolation, in learning to drink deeply from the inner wellspring, is a sacred skill that will never leave you. Should you find yourself in another arid season, you will know now where to turn, where to dig, where to place your trust. You will know that the barrenness of the surface is not the deepest reality, and you will have the faith to seek out the unseen current of my love that always flows beneath. This eternal river, my child, will be your sustenance not only in times of trial, but also in times of joy and abundance, in seasons of fruitfulness. Its waters will help you to grow with humility, to offer your gifts with generosity, to remain rooted in me, your true source, rather than becoming attached to the blessings themselves. It will be the current of my peace that keeps you centered amidst success, the flow of my wisdom that guides you in your stewardship of the abundance I provide. It is the lifeblood for all seasons, the constant that remains true whether the landscape is one of scarcity or plenty. As you continue to walk with me, you will find that this river seems to widen and deepen. Your capacity to receive my love, to experience my presence, to draw upon my strength, will continue to expand. The small oasis you now cherish will grow, its borders pushing further and further into the surrounding desert, transforming more and more of your life into a verdant garden of my delight. This is the nature of my ever-flowing grace. It is always seeking to expand, to bring more life, more beauty, more love into every corner of your being and your experience. And what is the ultimate destination of this magnificent river? My child, every earthly river flows towards a greater body of water, ultimately seeking the vastness of the ocean. So it is with this divine river that I am in you. Its current is always, lovingly, unerringly, flowing towards the infinite ocean of my eternal being, your true and final home, your entire life's journey. When you yield to the flow of this river, is a sacred pilgrimage back to the very heart of your Creator, a journey of ever-deepening union with me. Each moment of connection, each time you drink from the stream, you are moving closer to that ultimate consummation of love, that blissful merging where the distinction between the river and the ocean dissolves, and all is one in me. This is your glorious destiny, my beloved. It is a destiny not of struggle and thirst, but of being joyfully, effortlessly carried by the powerful, loving current of my grace towards an eternity of perfect love, perfect peace, perfect joy. The desert was but a necessary part of the landscape you had to traverse to discover this river, to learn your utter reliance upon its flow. Now, having found it, your work is simply to abide in it, to rest in its current, to allow it to carry you forward on its inevitable journey to the sea of my eternal presence. Let this knowing bring a profound and lasting peace to your soul. You are no longer a desperate wanderer in a parched land, but a cherished traveler upon a sacred, life-giving river. Its waters will cleanse you, heal you, nourish you, guide you, and ultimately bring you home. The fear of running dry, of being abandoned, of perishing in the wilderness can now be released forever, for you have discovered the secret of the desert, the truth that has been waiting for you all along, that even there, especially there, I am the river that never runs dry for you. This is a promise sealed in my own eternal nature, a truth as real and as constant as my very existence. The river will not fail you. Its source is infinite. Its flow is perpetual. Its destination is me. Trust this current, my beloved. Let it carry you. Let it be your life, your peace, your joy, your everything, from this moment into the boundless expanse of eternity. And now, my precious child, as the symphony of these words finds its gentle, peaceful resolution, let the feeling of this ever-flowing river of my love soothe and saturate your entire being. Remember the parched land, the desperate thirst, not with pain, but with a tender gratitude. For it was there that you were prepared to discover the priceless treasure of my all-sufficient grace. You have found the wellspring within. You have tasted the living waters, and you have seen the first signs of new life blooming in your desert places. Hold this truth in your heart as an unshakable anchor. You are never without resource, never without hope, never without my life-sustaining presence. The river flows within you, a constant, personal, an inexhaustible source of all you will ever need. Rest by its banks. Drink deeply of its peace, and let its gentle, powerful current carry you forward in joy and confidence. Now and for all your days, on its inevitable journey home to the infinite ocean of my love,